Hello everyone, I'm Erica Embalager from BSU1-3 and I'm your reporter for this video. In this video, I'll discussing the definition, the origin, and the characteristic of social disorganization theory. And also, I will explaining to you how concentric zone theory works. So if you are ready, let's get started. The social disorganization theory. By starting it, I will give a simple question to everyone. What is social disorganization theory? According to the social disorganization theory definition, the weakening of the social bond leads to social disorganization. And social disorganization is the main cause of the crimes in society. The social bond could be connection with his family, community, or religious connections. This theory associates the involvement in the criminal activities with the locality of the person. Also, the location where the person lives influences behavior of the person, whether he/she will indulge in the criminal activities or not. So basically, the definition explained that social disorganization theory is a society or community with lack of unity, or it is disorganized, which lead to uncontrolled behavior of individual that result of engaging them in different criminal activities. The theory defined that cause of social disorganization is based on the people, location, or the place where they live. The next is the origin of social disorganization theory. In the 1942, two criminology researchers from the Chicago School of Criminology, Clifford Shaw and Henry D. McKay, developed social disorganization theory through the research. Shaw and McKay claim that delinquency was not caused at the individual level, but is a normal response by normal individuals to abnormal condition. So the social disorganization theory is developed by two researchers named Shaw and McKay. Additional information about Shaw and McKay, they are American sociologists and criminologists from University of Chicago. Their theory that name social disorganization theory assert that crime is most likely occur in community with weak social ties. Example of this is place where an individual who grows up in a poor neighborhood with high rates of drug user, violence, and teenage delinquency is more likely to become a criminal. What are the characteristics of social disorganization theory? The social disorganization theory associates human behavior with the surroundings. People's decisions are consciously or unconsciously dependent upon the area where he/she lives. Social disorganization theory emphasizes that the attitude or the behavior of the person is not innate. Instead, it develops through acculturation or assimilating of various rules and regulations. As I said earlier, that the location of an individual affects their behaviors. The theory states a person's physical and social environment are primarily responsible for the behavioral choices that a person makes. That the location matters when it comes to predicting illegal activities. I will give three examples about social disorganization theory. The first is delinquency among the people living in the public housing project. The studies conducted by the theories Wickstrom and Lover 2000 and Bursick and Grasmick 1993 showed that the juvenile crime rate and other criminal activities are most likely in the public house projects. Based on their studies, lot of youths are engaged in different illegal activities and the common youth who engage this is living in public housing project. Here we can call it the pabahay. What we means by pabahay? Pabahay is house from the government that they give in the homeless people or mga pinaalis sa squatter area. Based on the research, it has a lot of delinquency because of lack of parental guidance and disorganized cultural behavior. The second one is difficulty in regulating community due to diversity. The study conducted by researcher Elliott in 1996 shows that the crime rates in the neighborhood that consists of a diversity of immigrants are higher than communities with a similar culture or ethnicity. So, based on the research conducted, that the common problem of community is people with different culture or belief system, which is the immigrants. It affect in community and the behavior of the people. And ito din yung isa sa cause ng criminal activities. The last one is crime against immigrants. Some dominant group often restrict the immigrant from participating in the local group gatherings or other activities. Due to the dominance of the local people and their alienated behavior, the immigrant may start feeling isolated from society. Being an immigrant is a bit hard because of discrimination of local people who living in a place is pinanganak sila. The immigrant feel of inequality treatment that can cause a chaos and crimes and also criminal activities. Okay, we are done in social disorganization theory. The next is concentric zone theory. The definition. Concentric zone theory arose from the observations of Ernest Bourdieu about urban development. He recognized that cities grew around a core at the center of the city, which led him to develop a concentric zone theory that grew around a central business district. Concentric zone theory is the principle that state cities tend to grow in concentric ring around their core. What it means by core? It is a circle or like an earth with a layer that you can see in the next page. And this is the illustration of concentric zone model. What is concentric zone model? This concentric ring model depicts urban land usage in concentric rings. The Central Business District or CBD was in the middle of the model, and the city is expanded in rings with different land uses. Burgess started his research with the city of Chicago, a large city that fit very well with his view of how cities are developed. As the first sociologist to consider why specific social groups locate themselves within certain regions, he developed this theory as a way to explain it. His theory considers a bullseye pattern that each city is made from a which represent different groups of people who reside in each of those locations. The next is what are the different zones in the concentric zone model? Zone 1 or the Central Business District. Zone 2, Transition Zone. This is the first zone that appears one will leave the Central Business District. This zone was considered one with mixture of residential building and commercial businesses. Zone 3, Inner City or Working Class. The working class residential district is the one that the majority of people live in because it's a blue collar working class neighborhood. These are the people you normally think of because they have single family homes and a large group of people as well. Zone 4, White Collar Home and Outer Zone. As you start moving up the ladder, you may find more people from the educated residential district. These are the people who have more education and tend to have higher level degrees because of that they also have a little better living standard. Zone 5, Commuter Zone. Here you're going to have the rich people in town. These are the people you see mostly with big beautiful homes. The ones that you probably wish you could afford and the giant yards with every luxury. The concentric zone model also has some problem. First, is it assumes that the city can grow in every direction. Physical features often limit city growth, though. Second is commuter village cannot be explained with the model. They are far from the city but often have cheap housing. So it means that most of the larger cities do have this type of setup, but it really doesn't apply to smaller cities. The truth is, even with some larger cities, this is not even true anymore. That's because if we look at larger cities, we see that this is the way they were originally created. But over time, there are a whole lot of things that change about how cities are represented. The modern method of establishing or even changing cities around is really changing a whole lot for most people, especially when it comes to population density. And I guess this is the end of my presentation. But before I end it, I have a simple quotation. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Malcolm X. So, thank you everyone for listening. And I hope na marami kayong natutunan sa akin.